We've worked with Zeb for the past 6 years, and I'm really excited for him to be able to present his expertise as it pertains to social media. After the webinar, we'll make sure to submit a survey reviewing everything that you've learned today, and hopefully you're able to incorporate some tools from today into your day-to-day business. We'll also share with you a couple of our services that we have via email, and I'll be sharing that with you after the webinar.
Welcome, everybody. This is a presentation put on by San Bernardino County Workforce Development. Right now, obviously, we're dealing with a lot of different things that we've ever dealt with before. San Bernardino County Workforce Development is a great resource for anything you need when it comes to employment or anything that is coming up with the county. So I encourage you to reach out, whether you're a business owner, somebody who was an employee. If you're having any kind of issues or challenges when it comes to your job or your career, San Bernardino County Workforce Development does a great job of helping in any capacity, and especially right now with all the stuff that's going on and all the resources that they're compiling and putting together. They have things that will help you out, so I encourage you to reach out to them if you need anything. This workshop is hosted directly from them, so thank you to San Bernardino County Workforce Development for giving us that opportunity, and so I appreciate that. Today, our workshop is going to be on growing your business using video content. And I apologize for the phone. Also, we have people coming in, so I'm going to let them in as I'm doing this. So I hope I don't get too distracted. So grow your business using video. I want to give you a little bit of background about myself and where I come from. So I was starting my career. I actually was a high school history teacher. I taught high school history for 4 years. I left teaching right at the beginning of the the Great Recession, as they would call it. So I left right then, not knowing that there wouldn't be any jobs available or anything like that. So I kind of traveled the country for a while, and my plan was just to set up shop, look for a job somewhere. I couldn't find anything, so I ended up moving. Back home with my parents. The only job that I could find was like a one-on-one tutoring situation with a student. I started tutoring that one kid, and then I ended up trying to turn that into a business. And so as I was turning that into a business, I started learning about how to, let me mute. So as I started learning about all these internet marketing tools, how to promote and market your business. I thought the main thing that I wanted to do was figure out how I could show up at the top of the Google search results. So if anybody typed in tutoring in my area, I wanted to be number one when they were doing it in Google. And that was something that I really worked hard to try to figure out how to do. So I learned about Google search results, how to show up there. I did it with my tutoring business. So we ended up getting just phone calls off the hook with my tutoring business. And then I started learning about email marketing, building a website, doing social media. And that's all transitioned into growing my Welborn Media business. So the first client came to us. It was a parent of one of the kids that I was tutoring. And she said, Zeb, what you're doing is fantastic. I want to hire you to do that for me. So she hired me to do it for her, and it paid a lot more than the tutoring was paying. So I quickly hired somebody to take over the tutoring business, and I started this Welborn Media business back in 2010, probably. So since 2010, I've been running my Welborn Media marketing business. I'm also currently the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce president. So I'm also running the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce. And sorry, let me mute that one too. There we go. So I'm currently the Chino Valley Chamber of Commerce president. And a lot of the stuff that we do, so in all the things that we're doing for all the business that we represent, obviously social media has changed a lot. So when I first started with social media, as many of you have, it was much more rudimentary. It wasn't as robust as it is now. So the competition is a lot different than what it was back then. When you first started using social media, your average post would get a lot of interactions and a lot of views. And it's kind of shifting so that video is the much predominant and preferred type of messaging through online channels. So when you're looking, so having a strong video strategy is extremely important when you're looking to grow your business, especially in a marketing context and especially online. So there's lots of things that you should be aware of and how to do. And this workshop is hoping to educate you on all of those things. So that's just a little bit of background on me. One of the things that I mentioned at the beginning was that I used to be a high school history teacher, and one of the things that, through all of my learnings in college and teaching is that group work really solidifies the learning that you're doing. So my hope today is I plan on doing some group activities, and I think that the Zoom is going to allow me to put you all into rooms. The intention in going into these rooms is to chat with each other, learn from each other, and build relationships with each other. So that's going to be kind of the thought here. So here's the questions that I have for you before we get started. And this is really going to help me because I do want to know how much experience you have creating video content, what your goals are out of the workshop today, and what plans that you have for your video content. Like, what are you looking to do with it? So those are the 3 questions. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, so you should be in rooms of 4 to 5 people. This will give you a chance to connect and network with new folks. I'm going to do that now. You should be getting an invite in about 10 minutes. I'm going to have you come back. I want one kind of group leader to take up your thoughts to answer those 3 questions on behalf of your group and go from there. Okay, everybody sound good? I got to ask 2 questions. So one, you have those 3 questions, which is, how much experience do you have with video content? What are you hoping to get out of the workshop today? And what plans do you have for your video content? So somebody was supposed to be in charge of kind of that group and just give kind of an overview census of what your group has kind of come up with. So does anybody want to start? And if you do, just unmute yourself. And I see Jim Maloney. I see your hand up. So Jim?
Yeah, I'm starting because I probably won't have very much to say. It didn't seem like we had a lot of time. We just went through and kind of introduced each other, and then, which was really neat. I got a chance to meet some really good people. So as far as experience, I would say most of us did not have very much. We had one guy, Aaron, who has a unique online store for RV owners, and he has done some YouTube videos. But his I guess concern would be to get those more exposure. And kind of the same with Christian. It's a very unique business also, and she does have access to a lot of information through through videos. Except getting to reach her market, it's a very unique market. It's basically freight companies. And then Rhonda has a ServPro franchise, which I'm very familiar with. One of my clients has one of those. Kind of the same thing. Corporate has some advertising that you can see, but getting her unique her unique service out to more clients. And she's doing a lot of cleaning, obviously, for businesses that are trying to reopen right now. So I think they all had really good concerns and things that hopefully maybe somebody in the group or you personally, Zeb, could help with.
Yep.
So I think that was it. As far as me, I have basically 0 experience. I'm in the financial services industry, and there's everything that we do has to be done through with our corporates. I'm kind of limited on what I can do, but definitely the 3 people in my group, I think, can get a lot out of this workshop.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Jim. And how about somebody else? Somebody from another group?
I'll go.
Okay, Clark?
No. So our group, Gail, Beth, and John, I believe, I kind of got the names near the end, and myself, we all have varying experiences, some from just family, photo, video experience to some business and our mixed business and personal use. But clearly an overall interest to figure out how to do it, what's going on, stay engaged, be able to, be somewhat knowledgeable about, what's going on and figure out ways to incorporate it into their daily routines or their life. We try to talk about some different software platforms about how to do the video and editing work. And that's pretty much kind of where we are.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you, Clark. Anybody else? Yes?
Hey, it's Deanna from Group 5.
Hi, Deanna.
Hello. So on the range of experience with video content, we had the very broad range from someone that described themselves as very green to someone in the middle, and then someone that we thought, at least I thought he sounded like an 10, but he described himself as an 8. Mostly the group is wanting to get more knowledge about how to create valuable content and creating success stories for people who have used their business, and also just to get some, like different nuances that they could do to enhance the skills that they already have.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. I see a hand raised. I can't tell who you're.
This is Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi. So I don't know what group number I was in, but we had a Mary Kay consultant, a real estate agent, and we had a person that sells jet fuel at the Ontario airport. And me, myself, I'm a photographer and I do some video. So our one of the concerns was where do we market to our clients? What platforms do we use to do that? Some of them are having problems with a Facebook platform. Some of them is using Instagram, YouTube. And my thing was that I'd like to know how to present myself better, because even though I help my clients present themselves, when it comes to presenting myself, I get intimidated about it. And then I think that's it.
Okay.
And how to help my clients better.
At some point later today, I'm going to be talking about the platforms. So remind me about trying to talk about how you should decide which platforms to invest your time with. Because I didn't put that in the presentation, but I can share some thoughts on that for sure. Anybody else? Yes, Jack.
Hey, that's Jack and Ryan from Group 4 here. We had Janice and Bill in our group with us. Janice is a small business consultant, and Bill is a photographer. Been doing it for about 25 years. We, again, same as everybody else, we all range in experience. You know, some of us have a little, some of us have a lot. I think the thing we're all trying to do, the common thread, is we're trying to be more effective with video as opposed to just putting out content. We all want to reach a wider audience, and we want to know how to most effectively get our point across.
Okay, excellent. Is that everybody? Did I miss out on any groups? Let me ask one more question is, how was it in the breakout rooms? How did that process go? Does anybody have any issues with that? Did that work out well? All right, I see some thumbs up from those that do have the camera. So cool. Okay, good, glad to hear it. So then we're gonna go on. I'm gonna talk about all those things. I hope to address all of the things you have. Like I mentioned before, feel free to use the chat. If there's anything I'm missing, please include it. The other thing I kind of want to mention is you know, I kind of covered like the holistic thing of online marketing, right? So my experience is in a lot of different areas. So while I say that, I've done a lot of video content. So I'm going to share kind of the things, the success stories that I've probably had. By no means do I claim to be an expert or somebody who can cover everything that's known to me about videos. But what I can do is kind of give you the best tips and practices that we can go in this. The other thing that I feel like we can do is throughout this presentation, I hope to get an opportunity for you guys to get connected with each other, to create more opportunities for the exposure of your video content and to get ideas from other people on how to do it. So those are some things that I want to cover. I'm going to show you a lot of case studies from myself. I'm going to show you a lot of case studies from people who do it well, who have done good video content pieces. So we're going to kind of dissect those and talk about what makes those good and how you can use that to grow your business. So with that, let me close this. And when you guys see the screen, are you just looking at the PowerPoint presentation? Okay.
Yes, PowerPoint, and then on the side of my screen, I have the people's videos.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to open this up because I want to show you some videos. Now, the first tip that I want to give you is that as Michelle mentioned, is it's intimidating. It's very intimidating for people who aren't used to it to do video content. So for those of you that say that you're green or that you haven't started yet, my advice to you would be just do it. I want to show you what my very first video was. This was for the tutoring business. This was my first attempt at it. And I want to tell you that this is, and I'm not joking when I do this, it's about 45 seconds, and it took me about 6 hours to do because I wanted to have the scripted presentation. I wanted to do it perfectly. I wanted to get it out, you know, like do all the stuff that you feel like you should do, and watching all these professionals that are doing video content. And so when I scripted it, I would just say it over and over again, and I messed up every single time until 6 hours later, we finally got one that I was happy with, and we ended up going with it. So I'm going to show that to you just so you can watch, because I want to show you kind of my progression of video content, and just show you that it's a process. The big thing about all of this online stuff is that you don't do one thing and it makes it successful. What you do is you do all of the things, and those things culminate together to build a strong online marketing presence. And there's certain tips that you can use to make things better along the way. But if you don't do it, you're not in the game. So that's probably the main thing that I want to encourage you all to do is just start doing it. If you're not doing it, video content is what people are looking at, and we'll do that throughout the course of the presentation. But I'm sure you guys have all spent time on your phones going over videos, just watching videos and wasting an hour, not knowing where that hour went because you're watching those stuff. So I'm going to show you the first video. Give me a thumbs up if the audio is good and you can hear it all.
Hi, my name is Zeb Welborn, founder of The Tutoring Solution. As a former high school teacher, I realized that many students were not performing up to their full potential. Either they were falling too far behind, or they were getting too far ahead and not being challenged academically. We aim to solve these problems by providing one-on-one tutoring that suits your child's needs at an affordable rate. In order to get ahead, your child needs to perform at his or her best. Let us help you make your child stronger, smarter, and more competitive. Give your child an advantage. Become a part of the tutoring solution.
The point being is I spent 6 hours doing this. When I did it, this was, and interestingly enough, if you look at the date, anyways, this is almost exactly 10 years ago from today that I recorded this video. And it had 244 views. So I spent 6 hours on it. My very first video, thinking that this is going to be the thing that's going to kind of make or break my business, not make or break my business, but, you know, put something out there that I was going to be sharing with the world and promoting my business and doing all that stuff. And I had 244 people that viewed it over the last 10 years that have seen this video. So you guys just, that's 30% of the people in this room, and then added 30% of the views that we've already had on this video. So my point being is that you get started and you do it. And I'm going to show you like a real world example of somebody who just started doing video content, and then because of that became uber successful. Does anybody know who this person is? So she's known as the Chewbacca lady, right? She goes on, she shoots this video content, and she posts this one video of her wearing a Chewbacca mask. But what I wanted to show you was that this wasn't her first video. It's not like she just hit the jackpot because she just got lucky. She had been making videos over and over and over again for, on her social media pages, and was just learning which things were resonating with people, how those things were working, which videos. So you can see all of these videos that she had, put together and done, and then finally she shares one so you can see all those videos that she did beforehand, and this was the one that got her famous. It's a 4-minute video, but this is not the video that you see.
I'm really excited to share with you something I got. I mean, I'll let them play with it. I'm not a bad mom. I'm not a jerk, but in all honesty, at the end of the day, it doesn't go in their toy box. It goes in my room. So here we go. I got to take off my glasses for it. Naturally. Okay, here we go. So, yes! Now watch when my mouth actually moves. me Chewbacca!
All right. So we can all see that that's something that as you can tell, as I was scrolling through, like I had lost where that was, but she does that. And then you can see from her page, she's now this, I mean, she goes on Ellen. She's an author, a speaker, and a podcaster. She's got all of these things that have blown up because of this. If you look at her business account, oh, you can see it here. She almost has 800,000 people that are following her. And so she's getting booked for speaking engagements. She's an author. She does the podcasting stuff. And so all of that became because of that one video. But really the reality of it is she was just doing it, right? She was doing it until she found one that hit and worked, and it worked really well. And that's all free organic content. That didn't cost her anything to produce that. And so those are things that you want to think about for your business, is thinking of ways that you can use content and or create videos that have the potential to get a lot of traction. I want to show you another video of one that it was probably my most, out of my clients, the thing that was the most viral, and I'll show it to you here. This one is a golfer falls into a lake at Stevenson Ranch Golf Course.
It's going down and steps up. Oh man, this is don't fall into. Don't go professional. Scrapple down. Yeah. Oh, just oh my god. So this is Scrapple down. He's taking a shot here. Oh. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, the shot. Was that Scrap shot? Why did Scrap take a shot? I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was Scrap shot. Why did Scrap take the shot?
So that's another example of a video that is. Now I want to tell you that when we posted this video. It was golfers that played at the golf course. They sent it over to the ownership team. They sent it to me and said, Zeb, make sure we get this up on our social media stuff. So we posted it on there, and it blew up. It went in a lot of different circles, or a lot of people were sharing it and sharing it with multiple groups. I think at the end it had like 100,000 views on it, and we actually got calls, or I got calls, because I had posted it on my my YouTube page from MTV, from Nickelodeon, from all these major networks that wanted to show that on their TV screens. And all of that is kind of free advertising for this golf course, because it's saying that here's all the stuff that is going at the golf course. They didn't do it because the guy who shot the video didn't want to be on national television. So that was a kind of a bummer, but that was the potential there. And so there's a lot of potential that you have when you're shooting video content and you're sharing it and you're thinking of creative ways. Probably the thing that also helps when you start doing it is you start to pick up a sense of what works in terms of a video content. So a lot of times you think you know what people are interested in, or you think you know what they want. Probably the common thing that a lot of people do is just kind of like an explainer video about your product or service. And for lack of a better word, it could be, dull or not quite as entertaining. But if you get in the habit of looking at opportunities of things that you can share or do, and figure out which things get some good social traction, then you're going to be ahead of the game, or ahead of your competitors, or ahead of whoever, whenever you're posting these video content pieces, just because you have the experience and the idea, and you start to think of things a little bit differently to create that video content for your business. So those were two of the pieces. I wanted to talk about the types of videos. So actually, here's like our objectives. Here's the things that I plan on going over. I want to give you some thoughts on videos that you can do in your business. These are things that will help your business if you start doing this video content pieces for them. I want to show you some case studies. These are things that I showed you a couple of them already. These are examples of videos that people have done, and I want to also show you my progression so you can see kind of how things progress when you start doing it. They're kind of like the basic rules. Sorry about moving that around. The basic rules to improve your videos. So when you get started, I would much rather prefer you just do it and see what happens. And then as you start doing it, you can start improving on those pieces to make the videos better. So I'm going to give you some tips so that you can kind of start ahead of the game. on ways that you can use, use rules to make sure that you're putting out the best kind of video pieces. I'm going to be sharing ideas and topics on how you can use videos to build your brand, because there's two different ways that I look at it as two different ways to use video content. There's ways that builds your brand, which means that people start to know, like, and trust you more. And that's where I use most of the video content. But there's also ways that you can use video pieces to sell. And so because this is a business workshop, I want to make sure that I'm covering both. So you're going to get some tactics on how to use videos to build your brand, to get people to be more familiar with you, to know, like, and trust you, so that when they do have that purchasing decision, they go with you. You're also going to be learning a little bit about videos to sell. So these are tips and tactics that you can implement in your business that will, or when you do create videos, you'll at least have a blueprint of ways that you can use videos to sell. And then I also want to help you all get a little bit more comfortable in doing video content so that you feel more comfortable doing it moving forward. I also want to kind of tell you one thing is over the time I've interviewed, or I've put a lot of people on camera, and probably the thing that's consistent among most of them is that they don't like the way that they look on camera. Same thing if you're doing a podcast, or people don't like the way that they sound on video or on audio. So those are things that I promise you that the people viewing it on the other side see you, and they see who you are, and that's really what you want to be sharing with them. The other thing I'll also share is that when you're talking about video content, I think most of the pieces here are going to have people talking at camera, but you can create videos without people that get just as much traction. So don't feel like you need to be in front of the camera in order to make video content work. There's a lot of other alternatives out there too. One thing I want to talk about, so we covered like viral videos. I feel like that's the first thing that people think about when they look at video content is how do you make a video go viral? And what I wanted to say was, or what I want to let you know is this guy here, Christopher Mance, I interviewed him, and he was like, his thing was he studied virality, what makes things go viral. So I used to have a podcast that I did, and I interviewed him on that. And one of the things that he shared with me was that going viral means something totally different for different people. So Coca-Cola, for them, something going viral means they're getting millions and millions of people viewing it or watching it. If it's me, it's getting maybe tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people watching it. If it's somebody who's just starting out, it could be getting 5 people watching it. I like to tell the story of when I first started my tutoring website. I got super excited, and I'm thinking, when you first build a website, and I don't know if you guys had this experience, but I first built my first tutoring website. I put it up online, and I was thinking that this is going to make my business. Now my business is there. Money's going to start coming in. I'm going to start having customers finding me online and wanting to pay for and buy my services. And when I looked at the analytics of it, I found that I only had about 5 people that had come to my website over the last 2 weeks since I started it. And then those people were likely my mom, my dad, my brother, and maybe our dog. So we had people that were watching those videos, or that were coming to our website. So what I knew was I knew I needed to kind of do more of it to try and get people attracted to our website, to find out our stuff. And so those are all the things that I kind of worked on over time. And so now you build up a following of people that are watching your stuff or that are seeing your things. And so I know that many of you are here because you're kind of seeing my stuff online or me in person. And that's brand building. Those are all the things that I have because of that. So it means that I have the ability to reach more people because people are following my stuff when I put it out there. And that's the same type of things you want to think about for your business. So for him, when you're thinking about creating videos, don't get caught up in how many people are reaching. Oh, it's not as good as the Chewbacca lady, really just focus on your current audience. If you're expanding your reach beyond your current audience, you're doing a good job with your marketing efforts. And so if you continue those efforts, you start to bring in people into your network, and those are opportunities to conduct business. So I already showed the Chewbacca lady. I already showed the golf course video. So I wanted to run through some of the types of videos. I'm going to give you some examples of these. So a good way to get in the habit of doing video content is doing a vlog or like a video blog. So you'll see a lot of people have these where they kind of are consistent with it. So maybe on a weekly basis, there was a gal, we did a pitch competition last 2 weeks ago through the chamber. So there was a gal who won the contest, but she sent me over a video of the vlog that she did, kind of talking about her week, and a big part of her week was winning the pitch competition. So she put that video together, and so she does it every week. Once a week, she puts the video together, cuts it, edits it about her week, and just updates people on things that are going on. I have another friend of mine who has a much more strategic approach to it. So she's a speaker, and so she wants to kind of highlight different topics throughout the week to educate her folks that are following her about the different things that she finds that she wants to educate people on at that particular point in time. So you can do a vlog. You can do a behind the scenes of your culture. You know, I see, you know, Serve Pro is here. They have multiple folks here. So that's something where a good opportunity would be to kind of showcase what you guys do. A perfect example is with COVID-19. So those of you guys don't know what Serve Pro is or does. You know, they come in and mold remediation, or if you have fire damage, they come in and clean that stuff out. So a great opportunity would be to, and I think right now they're getting hired a lot to do disinfecting, to make sure that the places are sterile, safe, clean. And so those are opportunities to showcase what your business is doing to protect people that are coming to your location. So that's a perfect example of the behind the scenes videos to showcase how you're being safe, so that your customers will appreciate that, or feel safe, or feel like you're looking out for their best interests. So that's a good thing to do. You can talk about your company culture. I know that Infusion Zone is on here. So they run a laser tag center. At the laser tag center, you can talk about, you get your employees. Like, how do we interact as employees? We're all happy. We're all having fun. We're all doing stuff. And that's what the kind of premise of going to a laser tag center is. So by sharing that company culture in video form would be a smart thing to do. Interview. So let me see if there's anybody that, I know I interviewed Deanna. So again, from Infusion Zone, I did an interview with her recently through the chamber. So I interviewed her. She's been impacted pretty heavily by the coronavirus. Obviously, as a laser tag center, you're not allowed to go visit those right now. So her business is basically kind of shut down overnight. We interviewed her kind of about her experience, really just to tell her story. And it got picked up by our local newspaper. So she was on the front page of our newspaper this last weekend. And that's a result of the video that we did. So the interviewing of videos does have some merit and some ways to get some interaction. So not only did it go out, we had a hefty amount of views on our social media channels, but it also got in front of that newspaper and that newspaper's audience of 100,000 plus people that are seeing her on the front page of her business and learning about her story. You can do Q&As. I do a lot of those as well. So through webinar format or through whatever, you can open up the opportunity to do it. A friend of ours at the chamber, and somebody that I also interviewed on my podcast, Vicki Fitch, she does these live videos. So she hosts Q&A sessions all the time. It's like, hey, come into my live video, ask me any questions you want about this particular topic, and people will do it. We have been hosting a lot of webinars through the chamber on a consistent basis. So this is a webinar. Actually, this one's considered a meeting. But every Tuesday from 8:30 to 9:30, we're hosting it's just called Chino Valley Leaders Webinar on the coronavirus. So we have our elected officials, we have people from hospitals, we have people from the different areas that are impacted by the coronavirus, really talking about how the leadership is handling it. So that's a form of a Q&A where people could come in, ask questions of those folks. We then save those videos, we post them to our Facebook page, we post them to our YouTube page, and those are blowing up because people are very interested to know how our community is dealing with the coronavirus and what things are coming up. And so through those channels, people or businesses that are watching are learning extremely valuable things about stuff that's happening with the coronavirus. We do promotions of events, and I'm going to show you some of these. So whenever you have any kind of event, in person, not in person, you can promote those through video. A presentation very similar to like the one we're doing here. How-to videos, product reviews. Testimonials are extremely valuable. you really want to have people on camera saying how great you and your business are. So those are some things that really add value. We talk about, just as an example, one of the things we did through the chamber was we put out so we email everybody when those stimulus funds were coming out. There was some grant funding opportunities that came out of the U.S. Chamber. I sent that out to all of our membership. We had some businesses that ended up getting those grants. And so we interviewed one of them, just talking about, and this is a testimonial for us. She was just saying, you know, Zeb, because of the email that I got from you, we were able to get $5,000 from the U.S. Chamber. And that's something that I can, that we put on our website, we put on our social media. We let people know that this is the value that our business offers to our customers and our clients, for those that take advantage or those that pay attention to the stuff that we're putting out there. You can do animation videos. There's a lot of programs out there that offer animation videos. To be honest, I haven't experienced with that, so I can't speak to that too much. But there are programs that make it pretty easily affordable, and you just kind of search up, you know, how to do an animated video in Google, and those will help you out. Live streaming. One of the things you want to consider when you're putting content online is how the platforms treat that type of content. So what I mean by that is, Facebook used to prioritize, like Facebook, when you posted something, it used to go out to your entire audience. So if you had 300 followers, it would go out to all 300 followers and they would all have the ability to see it. Facebook is now kind of limiting that, right? Because so many people are coming in, so for one, so many people are posting. For two, they also want to make sure that it's valuable content for the person that's looking at it. So if the person that's looking at it, if you're just kind of throwing out sales messages all the time, for the person that's looking at it on the other end, they're just not interested in it. And so that's something you want to pay attention to. So Facebook, so they limit that stuff. So you really got to pay attention to what Facebook is prioritizing, or the different social media platforms is prioritizing. So it started out with text. People started posting pictures. They saw that pictures were getting more engagement, more people interacting in it. So they prioritized photos, and then videos. So they allowed the option for people to post videos. So videos were getting more interaction and engagement than posts. So they showed up more in posts. And then live videos was another thing where they were seeing that was also getting a more engagement, and they also really wanted to push it. So they were having live videos get a lot more reach. They've limited it back now. So from my experience right now, all of them are kind of at equal footing, where they're kind of showing the same things, but they're always kind of pushing something that they want to kind of to test out to see if it's engaging. And in all of these social platforms, the thing that they value is engagement, because they know that if you're engaging with something, that it's of value to you. And that's the thing that you want to pay attention to. So when we're talking about how do you create value, value is kind of shown in a couple of different ways. I'll talk about it later, but I'll cover it briefly here. Value is if you're entertaining or you're educating. And if you can do both together, that's even better. So the people that can entertain and educate at the same time are the ones that win with video content. And so they call it edutainment or something like that. So there's another form that people would say. I'm going to look in the chats real quick just to make sure I'm not missing any kind of comments or stuff. The next one is you have your video emails. So these are the videos you can send out through your email platforms to get in front of people. You can also identify user-generated content. So that video that I shared of the golfer falling into the lake at the golf course, that's an example of user-generated content. Clark is on the call here today. Clark has sent me, so he's a member of the chamber. He has sent me a couple of videos of him, One of them is pretending he's, not pretending, he's doing like a night show type thing, like a la Johnny Carson. So he's got the Johnny Carson kind of thing going for him. And then he's also put together a video announcing that he's giving out free rides out of the Chino airport. So he's taking these free rides out of the Chino airport, and he's offering those for people who come to our Business at Breakfast on Wednesdays. You can run contests and giveaways, and when you do those, you can put them in the description of your post. So whenever you create a video post, you can talk about it there, encourage people to enter the contest by visiting your video. So that'll help enhance your views. And then you can also create personalized videos for people. So think about a potential client. You can create a video that you can send to that potential client. There's a thing called Cameo, where you have celebrities that will go on and say, you know, like happy birthday to people and things like that. but you can use that in terms of growing your business. So if you want to develop a personal relationship, right now we're all doing things virtually, so we're not meeting people in person. So a nice personal touch is recording a video saying, hey, happy birthday, or whatever it is to your clients, to your customers, those types of things. You can do those very quickly and simply, and it adds a lot of brand power, brand equity for your business when you start doing that with your customers and potential customers. So this was the topic that we had come up. It's where to post your videos. So these are the places that I would encourage you to consider posting your videos. So you have your website, you have your Facebook page, you have your Instagram, you have your Twitter, you have your LinkedIn, YouTube, Yelp, Vimeo, emails, Pinterest, and now the newest thing is TikTok. So what I'll share with you, I want to give you some tips on things that you should put on your website for sure. Your website should probably have a limited amount of videos, and it should be kind of strategic about what you're talking about and the different things. When we put websites together for people, we talk about the 5 main pages on your website. You have your home page, you have your About Us section, you have your products and services, you have your Contact Us page, and you have your testimonials. So with those 5, you can include a video of each one of those things that really highlights your business, and I'll talk about that in the next post. When it comes to where you should post your video content or where you should focus it, you really do want to focus on your target customers. And each one of these platforms has different target customers. They also have different ways to put content up on those sites. So, for example, Facebook prioritizes those, they call it horizontal images and landscape when you're doing it with your phone this way. So when you record videos, you usually want to do it this way. So you're recording horizontally because that's the one that most of the social platforms prioritize. YouTube is the same way. And the reason for that is when you're looking at your phone, it covers the whole screen and it looks just like this. So those are the things that they're kind of placing an emphasis on. It's not the same though. So TikTok, when you're recording TikToks, they prioritize shooting video this way. So when you're shooting video content for different platforms, it depends where you're posting it and how you're posting it. So this way is for your website, YouTube videos, for Facebook, Instagram, like this for your regular Instagram post. So Instagram usually comes in a square. So they prioritize those squares, so you can kind of do it either way. But if you're doing the stories feature, the way to get it to show up the way that you want is filming it this way. So you're setting it up that way. But for the most part, whenever you're recording something, you want to record it horizontally. So here's the things that I encourage you all to have kind of on your website. So these are 3 videos that every business should have on their website. When we shoot video, so usually when we work with our clients, we always try to make sure that we have these 3 videos that we put on their site. The other 4 are ones that we kind of suggest or recommend, but we don't do that. But the first 3 we always try to get up on our clients' websites. So you have your product and services. This is kind of your sales pitch. So you have your products, your services. This is what you have. You have a testimonial or several testimonials of people saying great things about you and your business. And you have your About Us section, which focuses on, which tells your story. This is who you are, this is what you do, this is why you do it. The other videos that you should consider having it is if you have any kind of product that requires any kind of tutorial, you definitely want to have that on your website. Not every business has that need, but if you do have that and you do have something that needs that, you want to put that on there. You can also put any kind of webinars on there. So if you've educated or if you've educated folks on a particular topic, those are great things to include to let people know that there are people here that are interested in your stuff and want to see it. If you have any kind of event planning, you want to make sure those are up on there. And then the same thing, that company culture in the About Us section or in the Contact Us section, here is, the things that we like to do and go from there. So this is getting more into the tactical stuff. So as we kind of go through our little chat here today, I'm going to get a little bit more technical on things. So the first one I realize is very broad overview. I'm hoping to get into a little bit more detail here. Oh, the other thing is let me share. I shared this at the beginning, but I want to share it in the chat screen. I put a link together of all of this presentation, so you can kind of follow along with it in the documents itself. It's a Google Doc, so you can get it in there. I'm going to add it in the chat box. So anybody who wants to download that document can do so. It has all of this stuff, so you can see it in there. Here's the things that you should have in your videos to make sure that it gets seen by as many people as possible. These are ways to increase your reach to make sure that people are seeing it. So in the title, you want to make sure that you use descriptive keywords so that they're descriptive, so it explains exactly what it is, and then it has keywords in it. So if you're a laser tag business, you want to make sure you have the word laser tag in there. Same thing with your descriptions. A lot of people don't fill out the descriptions. So a lot of people, when they post videos, they just post the video. You want to include the descriptions because that's how people find it. So you want to make sure both your title and your descriptions are completely filled out. Same thing with tags. So tags is it's both on Facebook and YouTube. But when you're posting videos, you can include tags in there. And a tag is basically like, here's the kind of group or here's the kind of wording that this video goes towards. So they're like predetermined tags that you can make sure that your videos are getting seen on those platforms. So people who have an interest in laser tag or have an interest in your product or service, they're more likely to see your video if it's tagged appropriately. Same things with the keywords, and when people are searching for it, they can find it much more likely. You want to make sure that you optimize your thumbnail image. So also the same thing, when you post a video, it kind of just randomly chooses the visual that people see when they're scrolling through the feed. So when we go back to Candace's thing, this is what I mean by these are the visuals that you'll see. And so it's just kind of, if you don't select it yourself, it randomly chooses one. So you can choose the little screenshot that people will see when they see it. And this is what entices people to click on a video that when they may not know you or may not know about your business, the screen capture that you have on the front really does entice people to click through. So you want to pay attention about trying to make that as appealing as possible. So they'll give you some automated ones. You can also upload your own. So you can upload a visual so that people will be more likely to click it on there. And I'll show you, I'll hope to show you some examples of that later. You want to create transcripts. So like Facebook auto creates transcripts for you. That's a good feature to use, especially on Facebook. So if you're watching videos on Facebook, if you've noticed and you're scrolling through it, the audio doesn't come on automatically. You've got to actually kind of click on the video for the audio to turn on. So as you're scrolling through it, if the audio isn't turned on, the text will show up. So just as an example, somebody's in the bathroom, or maybe they're at work, or maybe they're doing something and they're checking out their phone and they don't want the audio going out, but people are still watching those videos and getting the transcripts that are coming across their screen. So you want to try to include those just so that you can engage more people and have them watch your videos longer. The main thing that social media or that these platforms prioritize, like I mentioned, is engagement. So the way that they test engagement for videos is how long people are watching it. So if you can convince people to stay on your video for longer, then Facebook or those platforms are going to show your videos to more people. So it's extremely important when you're doing that so that you can make sure that you're optimizing that reach. One thing I'll kind of point out, which I see a lot of people doing, is they'll kind of include like at the beginning, it'll have their logo, or maybe it'll just be something like, hey, my name's Zeb Welborn, and I do. One of the things that you should probably consider is jumping right into like the action or whatever it is, instead of giving those little buffers, because people have a very short attention spans. And so you only have about 5 to 6 seconds to kind of capture somebody's attention. So you really want to have like some good visual and audio pieces right at the front so that people will be more likely to stick around and watch your stuff. So and I mentioned before, you wanted to provide content that entertains and educates. You can have the opportunity to piggyback off of viral trends. So if you ever, by a show of hands, I'm going to open this up. How many of you guys have like watched TikTok videos? Anybody? So what you'll find in those TikTok videos, and a lot of types of videos that do that, is they really play off of these trends. And so in TikTok in particular, it's like a dancing type thing, right? Somebody will do some dance that goes along with some kind of music, and then before you know it, everybody's kind of copying those same things, and everybody's doing it. You might remember years ago, they had the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, where they dumped water on people's heads or ice buckets on people's heads. That's another example. That's an easy way to get views, is by joining in what other people are kind of talking about at that point in time, to get people to see your stuff. Because what happens is people watch a video and they're like, oh, that was funny. I kind of want to see who else does something like that. So those are things that you can do also. You can use guests. So I mentioned before that a lot of the videos that we're doing is we're interviewing people. And when you interview people, what it does is it brings audiences together. I think in today's day and age, we each of us as individuals, if you're participating online, we all have our audiences. And so we all have people that we're connected with. We all have family and friends. We all have people that are following us on our social media channels. And so when you invite guests, you're really opening up your audience and their audience to each other. And this is a great way to build partnerships, build relationships, connect with other people. So for those of you that are in business, a really smart thing to do is to connect with other business owners who are in your industry, who share the same target audience and target market, and connect with them. So this gives you an opportunity to build those relationships and introduce your audience to theirs and their audience to yours. So I'd encourage all of you to think about interviewing or working with guests or doing things. One of the things I'm trying to do, and I always try to do, is figure out how I can partner with those that are proactively making content, making videos, and how we can collaborate together so that we can do video content together and increase both of our profiles to that process. You can create content. So what you also want to do is you can create content that kind of is in what the best in your industry are doing. So if you search up, like I know Mike, he sells things on Amazon. So when you're selling things on Amazon, you're looking at those, like, so how to sell things on Amazon. If you're looking up a video like that, you're going to see the quality of content that people are producing in your industry. Same thing with Surf Pro. You can take a look at what other people are producing on there, and then you can use it as a way to kind of imitate that. So you don't have to come up with the ideas yourself. Oftentimes you can look at what the top people in your industry are doing and do something similar, but using your own take on it to increase and enhance your reach. So you're really not having to think of those big grand ideas. You're really just finding what your best in your industry are doing and then leveraging that to help create your own kind of online platform. It helps to create playlists. So when people view your videos, and there's a lot of other things inside of YouTube and Facebook that help you link from one video to the next video. And so you want to make sure that you spell that out for people. Give them an opportunity to connect from one video to the next. So in YouTube, they have like these things called end cap. I think they're called end caps, where you can say, hey, as soon as this video ends, it pops up with the next video that you think they should watch, and you can choose what those videos are. The same thing with creating your playlist. So it has, like, if you have different facets of your business, here's all the product information, here's all the about us stuff, and you can create playlists inside of your channels. You also want to be present with your niche and your community. So let's just say, so Mike, as an example, when he's selling stuff on Amazon, there's groups of people that also sell stuff on Amazon, and so he can be present with those groups by not only sharing his videos, but also engaging with other people that are creating videos. That's probably the biggest thing, the biggest way that you can build your online reach and showing up in search engines is when you start collaborating and connecting with people that are in your industry. So I'll give you like with my tutoring business, the way that I got in the top of the search results in Google was I started connecting with leaders across the globe in education. So I participated in this thing called, it was #EdChat on Twitter. I started engaging them. We started sharing, basically like writing guest blog posts on each other's websites. So they would link to my website, I would link to theirs, and as a result, my website started showing up when people were searching for tutoring in my area, because I was having all of these other reputable websites online linking to mine, saying that mine was the tutoring solution website, or the tutoring website in our area. And so that's how we would show up from those search results. And so what you want to think about is how can you reach out to other people in your niche so that you can connect with your audience in a way where they will see your videos, and you can also engage with those folks who are likely to see your videos. So you want to be engaging in those niches online. You want to reach out to influencers. So there's a lot of people that are probably in your industry that do video, do video contents, and those are people you can connect with and reach out with. And that's what I did with that tutoring business. I just reached out to a lot of people who were already doing what I wanted to do, and I just introduced myself to them and explained what I was doing. And a lot of them took me up on it. Not all of them did, but a lot of them did. And those are really easy ways to show up in search results. The same thing, like, when we're talking about social media, we're talking about showing up in search results. Every social media platform has a search feature to it, and how the way that they decide what shows up there is based on how many other people are finding that stuff valuable. So if you have a lot of people connected to you, connected to your stuff, when somebody searches in for your product and service, if you have more people linking to you than your competitor, then you're going to show up in those platforms. You're going to start getting people, you're going to start showing up in those areas on the various social platforms that you're engaging in. You can put videos on your website. So like we talked about that, it's important to do it, but you want to embed it in there so that you can get, whenever anybody use your website, they can see the videos that you're putting out, and they can see who you are, what you do. About us is extremely important. The testimonials are extremely important. Put those on your website. And then, like we mentioned, do giveaways and contests, and put those contests in your description so that you're saying, hey, we're going to give away a $100 gift card to a local restaurant if you do X, Y, and Z. You put that in the description of your video. So then, and one of those things might be watch the video, and there's a clue at the end that tells you what to do. Those are ways that you can increase engagement on your videos. Okay. So I mentioned before in the chat, I put in a link to the Google Doc. I'm going to do it again. Just give me 1 second. So I put it in here. So what this has is, it has the types of videos. There's a slide that, or there's a spot that has the types of videos. It has the platforms, and it has the ways that you can increase your reach. What I'd like you to do, this is kind of on your own for a minute, and then I'm going to put you into groups, is I'd like you to choose one of those video topics. So let me just go back to explain what it is again. So here's the types of videos we went over. So you have these types of videos. So I want you to choose one of those for your business that you feel like right now would offer the most bang for the buck for you and your business. Step 2 is choose your platform. Oh, the one thing that I forgot to mention was finding your target audience. So let me cover that real quick. Facebook is pretty much for everybody. Almost everybody has a Facebook page. I will say that the younger audience, so like 18 and under, are moving away from Facebook. So there's less of those folks that are on there. But for the most part, everybody is on Facebook. Instagram is for people, I used to say it's for people my age and under, but now it's pretty much predominantly, but it is more skewed towards probably 40 and under is most of the audience. Twitter, what I like to consider those, I call those, it's business to expert. So you have a lot of, and I don't want to say experts, but you just have a lot of people who are passionate about their niche or their product or service. And those are mostly the people who participate on Twitter. So Twitter isn't really a good tool to reach people locally. Twitter is a really good tool to reach people who have the same passions that you do. So ServPro, who relies on local businesses, I wouldn't spend a lot of time on Twitter. I would spend it on other platforms because it's not local. But for those of you that are in industries where you can do business with anybody from anywhere, Twitter is a great place to do that, to meet people. So like in the golf industry, I wrote a book for golf courses on how to do social media for golf. So I handle a lot of social media for golf courses. I can really do that from anywhere. So I'm connecting with golf courses on Twitter all the time. YouTube is just for video content strictly. So you have the opportunity to get that. And Yelp is for reviews, obviously. Vimeo is similar to YouTube. And TikTok is for the really young. Same thing with Snapchat. Snapchat is also for younger audiences. So if that's who your core audience is, those are the things. Those are the places where you would want to play. And then the last thing was using one of these things. Like which of these things do you feel like you could either, if you're new to business, could start doing now, or if you're not new to business, if you're not new to doing videos, one of these things, one of these tactics that you could improve on your next video. So the goal would be to circle one of those things. Think of the video that you want to do next. And then I want to get you in groups to connect with each other and share your ideas for the video and see if your group mates have ways that you can enhance or improve that video. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. I am going to open up back up into the rooms. I'm going to stop the share so I can do that. And remember, this is also a time for you guys to connect and network with each other too. My hope was that one, you get a chance to connect with other people who are also interested in doing video content, so that you guys can chat about your ideas and see how it is. My thought was, hopefully you guys came up with, hopefully each one of you came up with an idea that you liked. Hopefully your folks that were in your group together helped you solidify that idea a little bit, maybe gave you some pointers on it. And at the end, what I'm hoping you guys all, that there'll be like a little contest we can do to put video pieces together. And I hope to share that with you at the end. So let me continue on here. What I want to show you is some of the videos that we've done, and just showing you that it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be well crafted. In a social media context, especially for a small business or for businesses that are doing this, it doesn't need to be perfect. What it just needs to be doing is telling a compelling story, or having a compelling story for your niche. So this first one is, I found out a friend of mine, and this is something that you start doing when you start thinking of video content, or you get in the frame of mind to start thinking of videos to produce. This one is, his name is John Powell. He works at the local golf course. He's worked at the local golf course forever. He shot 22 strokes under his age. And so they told him there was a world record, and he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, Zeb, I found that out that I broke the world record. I know you're good with the computer and stuff. Do you think you could help me apply for it?" So I helped him apply for the Guinness Book of World Records, which he eventually got. But then I also wanted to kind of highlight that with the video. So I'm not going to show the whole video, but I wanted you to get a sense of the production value.
And this fellow called and wanted to know who I was. And he checked into it, and he said the previous world record was 21 strokes under the fellow's age. And he said, "Well, you now hold the world record at 22 strokes under your age." And I said, "You're kidding." He said, "No, that's the world record." I said, "Well, outstanding." My brother and I got started in the early 40s. We started out.
All right, so I'm sharing that with you because, so this video, I don't know, got like 20, I think in all said and told, in all the platforms we had at hand, I want to say, it was at least 20,000. So we had at least 20,000 views on all of this stuff. So we had it on Facebook, we had it on YouTube, we had it on the different, on their own golf course Facebook page and stuff like that. But it was really just recorded with an iPhone. It's an interview. You can see that it's set up kind of nice. I have a lapel mic that we put on there. So the equipment that you can get, you can use to do videos, is just your cell phone. This lapel mic, it runs into your cell phone. It's I think it's like $10. And that really helps out the audio quality. So the thing that you want to try to keep in mind is you want to try to have clear backgrounds. You want it to be a good looking background, and you want to have good audio. So those are kind of like two most important things, and the rest of it you can kind of run with stuff. So that was video number one. Video number two was, this is something that we hosted. So this is kind of a webinar format. We shared it on Facebook Live. So we did it on Zoom, just like this. We shared it on Facebook Live. This one has got over 7,000 views so far from it. It's a pitch competition. It's a 2-hour and 30-minute video. One of the things that people will ask, like in video pieces, what is the perfect amount of time that we would use to shoot a video? And the reality of it is, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. The rule of thumb is you want to try to keep them about a minute. So 60 to 90 seconds is kind of a good idea. When you're doing advertising, so we're doing advertising, especially through Facebook, they have what's called in-stream ads, and they'll show those way more if the videos are under 15 seconds. And so so if you're spending money on advertising to get a ton of views, you try to keep it under 15 seconds. If you want to have more of a storytelling brand type thing, 60 to 90 seconds is a good framework. But there's a lot of people that make a lot of success by doing videos that are way longer than that and have been extremely successful. So there's no right or wrong answer. The thing is you just want to be strategic about it. Most people have a very short attention span. And so the 6 second, one of the other things you also want to consider in your videos is every 6 seconds or so kind of changing the frame, the way that it looks, because people visually get interested in those types of things. So every 6 seconds, you really should have some kind of transition that goes along with it to keep people's attention. So what I mean by that is like, we talk about one of the questions that was in the chat as you guys were chatting. I looked at some of the questions. Is like what platform, like what video editing tools do we use? What programs are available to shoot better videos? I'm just going to tell you my own background on it. Is I use iMovie very simply. So we have that on your Mac if you have that. I don't have a PC, so I can't say that I've used any of those products. But through a Mac, it's super easy to do it on iMovie. That TikTok program that I showed you, I'll show you some videos at the end. It's super easy to edit videos with that. So you can edit videos that way. And when you edit the videos, it's really easy to drop in imagery or so visuals like pictures, so that when you're going through a video, it shows a picture of stuff or a video, and you can overlay that with me. Like if for as an example, I'm recording this video, I'm just talking to you, you just see me talking. You can interject with videos of the content that you're talking about or pictures of the content that you're talking about throughout the video, making it super easy. And that's what I mean by every 6 seconds. So every 6 seconds, you throw in a picture of something that's relating to your topic. Maybe you go back to yourself or another picture, or you go back to a different video. So there's all sorts of things that you can play with when you start doing that on a regular basis. So we talked about the pitch competition. I'm going to show you a video that we also did. This is another interview style video, which got a ton of views and traction. I think this one was seen well over 100,000 times. So we did it for Fodrell Construction. It's an interview of these two guys. It's very simple. They were considered here.
You know what I mean? So I run.
Start over.
The first guy said in, we were working, and I heard this, like a car hit, you know what I mean? So I ran, and there was this lady under the truck. So I ran to help the lady, because the guy was grabbing her. I told him, hey, don't grab her, just leave it there. So I called my buddy, Willie. He helped close the lanes for the firefighters.
So what you can see there, again, it's not really high quality production value, but it is. It's just an interview with your iPhone that you can do on the spot. So this event happened, these two guys, there's two accidents that happened on the same day while they're on the job, and they help save or rescue people from those situations. So we just recorded that video, had them talking about it. We also interlaid it. I'll show you with the owner. So when you transition to videos, you can have them coming in.
My name is Luis Herrera.
Talking about different stuff, and so you're kind of seeing those interlaid. And that one, I'm pretty sure it's well over 100,000 views for that video. Let me see. Go back to the presentation. So let me give you some tips on how to shoot higher quality videos. So as you're looking into this, there's some tips that you can use that will make sure that your videos are of higher quality and content. So those are, use plenty of light. So one of the biggest issues that a lot of people have when they first get started doing videos is the lighting's terrible. So it looks like it's dark in the front, and then you can't see their face. And I'm sure you guys have all been participating in Zoom meetings where you see those folks that have that issue. So those are things when you're shooting videos, you just want to make sure there's a good amount of light, especially coming in to your face. You want to have a clean background, so you want to have it not a lot of junk in the background. I've been doing Zoom meetings in my garage, so I try my best to just kind of block the view with like a projector screen, and I have a banner that we put on the side. So those are things that would try to clean up the background so it doesn't look as messy. You want to prioritize crisp and clear audio. So that's where that lapel mic will really help. You can get them for your phone if you're shooting them with your phone. If you're getting more high-tech advanced equipment, then that's beyond my pay grade. But there is those are things that you should be considering when you're shooting videos, because a lot of times people will shoot videos from far away and they're using their cell phone, and the audio comes in really hard to understand and it's not clear, and that's when people tune out too. So you want to make sure that the audio is strong for people that are listening to your video. You want to avoid the shaky footage. When I first started shooting videos, I probably did that a lot, where I was like walking around shooting videos and it's kind of like going like this because you're shooting videos. So that's something you kind of learn to taper back over time. The other rule is kind of understanding the rule of thirds. So when you look at your computer screen, it's like you look at it like a grid. So there's thirds. There's first third, second third, third. Same thing from top to bottom. And so those are like the lines of the video. So what you want to do is you want to have your focus being in one of those lines. So when you're saying the lines of thirds, sometimes it's not always good to have the person directly on camera. Sometimes it's good to have them on the sides, like here or here, when they're kind of sharing their content, because it adds, like that short attention span, it adds that kind of different things. So when you're thinking of it in thirds, like lining up your visuals so that they're in one of those thirds platforms, particularly where those areas cross, are good spots to have your like the main focus of your video. You want to try your best to record in landscape mode, especially for those YouTube and Facebook videos. One of the things that everybody can do is just work on your camera presence. I feel a lot more comfortable doing that now than when I first started. When I first started, I was always extremely nervous to be on camera, and I would forget the stuff that I was going to say, and I probably still do that a little bit, but it's definitely a lot less, mostly because I just do it a lot more often. Another thing you want to consider doing is shooting from different angles. So especially if you're doing a longer video or you're trying to really put an engaging video together, the more angles that you can shoot from, the better. And so typically you're shooting from two angles. You have the front on, and then you have one that's over here on the side. And so you could be telling the story, and they're going to cut back and forth between these two. And that helps with that, that audio visual stimulation. You're just seeing different things. And so your mind is not detracting from that message, because if there's something new that's coming up continually, and that's why having 2 points of view will help. Now, choose a good video editing program. Like I said, I wish I had more experience on that front, but really I just use iMovie because I'm a Mac person, and that's always served me well. So if anybody has any other tools that they use to shoot videos and create video content, please put that in the chat box. Help our other folks that are here watching learn a little something as well. And if you do have experience using those and you want to share that, don't be shy. Feel free to reach out to those folks that do have experience doing this also. Another thing that helps is kind of planning it in advance. Personally, I'm kind of terrible at this, but planning your videos in advance will help give you an idea. A lot of people will storyboard their videos. So if you're storyboarding is just like creating like a comic book of your video before you do it, like what the visuals look like, what you're going to say, and then plan it out that way. I don't go to that extent. Usually we kind of have some general idea, like we're doing in the About Us video. So we'll ask questions. One of the things that helps for us, and this might be helping for you, so if you're going to camera, is having somebody ask you questions, and that you can answer those questions, so that it's like you're responding to a person versus just trying to talk to camera. So that might be a tip that you can use to kind of help you feel a little bit more comfortable. Would just be trying to have a conversation with somebody who's asking you a question about your product or your service, and then you're just answering that as you would to a friend. And that usually comes across much better on video. And then the last thing you can do is promote videos. I wanted to touch on the advertising feature a little bit with videos. Like I mentioned, you have those 15-second in-stream ads, which get tons of views right now through Facebook. So if you keep it on 15 seconds or less, and you do advertising budget behind it, you can reach a significantly larger amount of people. It's a similar thing on YouTube as well, if you're doing YouTube videos also. I have someone trying to get in. So those are things that you should consider. In advertising, I mean, honestly, the social advertising is a really good way to get your brand out there. Same thing to run those sales messages. So people can start to see your name, your face, your videos, of you and your business, and it's also really easy to target your target market. I mentioned before, I work in the golf industry. It's really easy to target golfers that live in your local area through Facebook and Instagram. So if I'm running a video ad, we do a really nice video. We put it out. We advertise to people who live within a 15-mile radius of the golf course. So anybody who says that they're a golfer that lives within a 15-mile radius, we're advertising that audience. It's getting out to the exact right people we want it to, and it's selling their course and their brand experience. And when people do think about wanting to play golf, they think about those courses that are active on their news feeds. So the same thing for your business. I'm going to show you a couple of those videos that really take into account the level of quality, I think, in terms of videos that you can do. This is somebody that this is our team that put this together.
My name is Rudy Gutierrez. I'm president and CEO of Shaw Roofing Solutions Group. This is my partner. I'm Hector Gutierrez, vice president of Shaw Roofing and CEO of Chino, California. Today, we are installing a new roof. We chose to donate this roof to the Rodriguez family. My partner, Hector, and our team came out to do a leak investigation on the roof. It was beyond its life cycle. It wasn't economically feasible for them to spend the $30,000 to $35,000 on the roof. We are very proud to do this project in association with our channel partners, ABC Supply, who donated all the material for us, Berkeley Construction, who did part of the repair, and then our entire team, the Shell Roofing team. All we're doing here is a neighbor helping a neighbor.
And one of our core values of ABC Supply is to give back. And this presents a perfect opportunity for us to do our job and service America the way we can. And ABC and Shell Roofing Supply are going to be great partners for years to come. And we hope to give back more and more every year.
At the end of the day, it is about just helping our neighbors.
So that was a video we put together for a local business. And I think what you can see is if you look at all those elements of the things that we talked about, those are all kind of included in there. So the 6 seconds of version of going through it, you had clear backgrounds, you had a lot of movements, a lot of interaction. And that's, so when you're talking about progressing, it's much better to do it, get started in doing it. And then as time goes on, you can start adding in those elements so that you know what can work, and you can start having a team of people. It's very difficult to do video if you're focusing on your business. It's very difficult to focus on that video content and making it look like as good quality as this. So what I would say is this: I would say don't worry too much about the quality of it. What I'd say, do it. There's a very popular guy named Gary Vaynerchuk in the online marketing world. So if you know of Gary, and you watch his very beginning videos, I mean, it's him talking to camera. He just has he's walking around the street with his cell phone. It's all shaky footage, or like it's from super far away and he's just sitting in like a random room talking to somebody. And it's really poor quality. But now, if you watch any of his videos now, they're all super high quality. They're all like of him and moving all these different places because he has a team of people that he's able to do that. And he was able to build that team because of the exposure that he was getting with all of his video content and stuff that he was putting out there. So it's a good way to build your brand and build recognition and all that kind of stuff. I'll show you just a quick video that we did promoting our golf tournament. Yeah, this is one. So this is promoting our golf tournament that we might not do this year, but you can still see. Welcome to Western Hills Country Club, home of the 5th annual Southern California Charity Golf Classic. We've raised over $40,000 for local charities. This year, we're going to be supporting the Chino Rotary Club, Boys Republic, Priceless Pets, and the Love Them All Foundation. Registration is going to... So I'll pause it there. But you get the sense. You can see those videos. I want to kind of focus on the last thing, which is creating sales videos. So this will be the last that we go over. I will stick around for any questions anybody has afterwards. So feel free to stick around. I'll be happy to answer all of those questions at the end. But the last thing I want to go over is making a great sales video, and I'll show an example of this in a second. So great sales video. Use the acronym GREAT for your sales videos. So number one is you want to grab attention, and that's the most important thing. Is you want to grab attention right away. I'm going to show you one, but there's a guy that I follow, and it was because he put these really, that would grab your attention really quickly. He's from San Diego. Oh gosh, I'm trying to blank on his name right now. But anyways, one of the videos, he has these hair clippers, and there's this gal that's sitting, has this team of employees around there. They're all having a party or something, and he grabs his hair clippers, and he's going in, and he's about to like buzz off her hair. and they pause it right as he's about to like actually do the clip thing. And it's very compelling from a visual format because you're like, okay, what the heck is going on here? And then you watch, I mean, it's a purely sales video, but that hook or the first thing that comes in is the thing that grabs people's attention. That's the most important thing to get people to watch your videos, especially when you're creating your sales video. So thinking about how to do that, how to put a more compelling audio visual components together makes it more likely people will watch your video. So don't start with your branding. A lot of people will start with, like their logo that pops up on the screen, or just say, hey, my name is Zeb Welborn, this is who I am. It's much better if you're starting in doing something a little bit more thoughtful and attention grabbing. The next thing is restate the problem. So in the video that I'm going to show you as a sample, they do a really good job of restating the problem. I'm going to show you a video. I'll show it to you in a second. But they restate the problem, meaning like, this is the problem that you have, and they're kind of phrasing in a way that makes you think, oh yeah, that is the problem that I have, whether you may or may not have that problem. So that's kind of the way that you do it. So you talk about the before, like what life is like before you have this, and then what life is like after you have this product or service, and you try to demonstrate that throughout the video. You want to explain the solution. So we talked about reframing that conversation, so getting the people to look at things a little bit differently than what they had about the problem that they're experiencing. You explain your solution, how your product or service is going to help solve that problem. And then you also want to make sure that you develop, your value statement. What is it that you're giving to your customers, or what is it that they're getting of value? And then you want to also include the actual proof. So testimonials from people, getting credibility, having lots of ratings and reviews, things that you can share on that. And then the last thing you want to do is make the sale. Tell them what you want them to do. So what do they do? Need to do it. So I'll show you a good example of a sales message. And what you'll see is that they include all of these pieces in there so that when all is said and done, you're going to do it. Has anybody seen the video, how to use a raw egg to determine if your mattress is awful? Purple mattress? No? Okay. I saw some shaking heads. No. So I'll show you that one. Give me 1 second. So this is the video.
Super easy way to tell that your bed is awful. The raw egg test. Let me prove it. When it comes to mattresses, you used to only have 3 choices. Looking for some shoulder pain? Try a hard mattress. Oh, it may feel like a rock and put pressure on your hips, but it's the perfect way to tell your partner, hey baby, want some arthritis? It just fails the raw egg test. Then there's the soft mattress. It starts out okay, but collapses over time, like some cheap sneakers or Anakin Skywalker. And since it comes without back support, you get to try cool new hobbies, like chronic pain. But it also fails the raw egg test. Now let me explain the eggs. The raw egg test states that the perfect bed will let you put weight on raw eggs without breaking them. Because if a bed can cradle raw eggs while supporting all that weight, it'll also cradle your pressure points while supporting your body for maximum comfort. Well, if the hard bed's bad at cradling and the soft bed's bad at supporting, at least the medium bed is just terrible. It's not firm enough for back support or soft enough for your pressure points. So in the end, it's just a sad middle ground, like limbo or a wussy centaur. It's average. No one wants average. Now, to get around that, some beds come with $5,000 remotes, so you can choose between hard bed problems or soft bed problems. They're so high-tech, they failed the raw egg test twice. I don't need a bed that's hard, soft, or average. I need the best of firm and soft without the drawbacks. Introducing Purple, the only mattress that cradles your pressure.
All right, well, I'll pause it there. There's a few more minutes left of that, but I think you guys can get the gist, but let me share with you what they do in that video. So they grab your attention right at the beginning. They restate the problem. So I'm sure that none of you before, if you hadn't seen that video before, none of you think, oh, I'm going to test my bed with raw eggs and see if it makes sense. So they're re-saying the problem there. They're saying, hey, this is a problem that they're reframing in your mind. So you're thinking like, oh, well, that makes sense. Like if it doesn't break on your bed, then yeah, it's probably a better mattress. So that's something that they're reframing and saying that this is the problem and that they're the solution to that is what they're kind of saying. So they're reframing the conversation. They're explaining their solution. They're developing the value. You're going to have a better night's sleep. And then at the end, they do add those testimonials. They also talk about how cheap it is. They also throw in all the other sales stuff that you would say, you know, you get your money back if you don't like it in the first 90 days. All that stuff is in the video. So if you want to watch a good sales video, that one was extremely successful, sold a lot of those mattresses, and that's something that you would want to consider when you are doing your video content or when you're doing your sales pieces. So I saw some questions in there about editing and through iMovie. I think I could show you real quickly just what it looks like insert of iMovie. So let me just show you how easy it is. So this is what like my iMovie would look like. So this is I'm gonna try to do one that's short. This will be this one. So this is an interview that I did. We cut it as a Zoom interview that we're doing now that we're dealing with the coronavirus. So you can cut and edit film. There's the directions on how to do it. So you just cut it in one spot and you add it here. So let's just say I wanted to delete this. I can modify it and I hit split clip. I can delete it. And so you can delete stuff from there. You can add, like I mentioned, you want to have those 6 seconds of stuff. So it's really easy to add in more media. So I can go to my desktop, I can pull in the videos or the files that you want, and then you overlay them on the top. Let me see if I have any photos that I can put in here. So I can include this photo over the top. I put it on the top here, and when you watch the video,
Newspaper business is very near and dear to
it
my
cuts in
heart. So
with
I'm
a
curious
picture
to
of
know
me,
how
so you
you
can
got
add in
involved
whatever
with
pictures
newspaper
you want.
business,
You can set them in there.
from
You can
the
play with
outset.
the audio. You can add music to it.
Well, like a lot of other
So there's all sorts of things that you can do, and it is extremely simple once you get used to it. It does take a little bit of learning to get used to, but once you do it, and it's the same thing with all the video platforms, it does take a little playing with. So once you get used to doing it, it's pretty simple, and then you come in and cut and edit it. I want to thank you guys for coming to this presentation on how to use videos to grow your business. When I give these presentations for the county, is oftentimes I'm getting people from totally different spectrums. So we have people that are right at, that have never done a video before, and then we get people who are doing the super high-tech quality videos like we showed you towards the end there. And so it's really tough to kind of put these together into one simple piece for you. But I wanted to show you kind of all of the things that we could do from start to finish, things that you could use to get started using videos so that you would feel a little bit more comfortable and using it in your business to help grow your business. So I guess with that, I'll leave it open so that we're all done for meeting purposes. I'm going to leave this open so you can ask me questions. You can unmute yourself and ask questions. You can put them in the chat box. The other thing I will say is if you're interested in getting on our email list to learn more about online marketing, digital marketing, feel free to send me a message as well, and I will make sure to put you on our email list. I'm going to put, the last thing I messed up. You guys didn't leave yet, right? The last thing was I wanted to have an assignment for you all. And the assignment was to shoot that video. And then I want you to share it to our Facebook group. And my Facebook group is, I'm going to put it in the chat box. So that's a Facebook group. It's called Welborn Media University, and that was the contest that we had talked about. So I have AirPods. So I have AirPods for those of you that are in attendance. The best video, so I'm going to do it. I'll just, maybe I'll have a team of people that'll look at whoever puts in the best video. I wanted to have a time frame for it too. So I'm thinking like a week. So that way it gets people used to using it. So we're on Thursday today. So 1 week from today, if you have a video, the video that you had talked with your team about, you talked about putting together, formalizing, and putting it on paper, that's what I'd like you to do. So you have an assignment based on this workshop. So the assignment is to take your video and post it inside of the Welborn Media Facebook University group, which is in the chat there. So click on that, share your video within the next week, and then I'll choose the best one, and I'll give them AirPods and a signed copy of my book, The Social Golf Course. Okay, now I can open it up for questions. Oh, and I know we're late too, but I also have, I've been playing a lot with TikTok. So if you guys haven't seen that, so my kids are on my TikTok page, and I felt like I should show you at least one of those videos because they're only allowed to be a minute long. You do shoot these ones vertically. So I'll show you one that I really enjoyed, which is, actually a lot of people tell me they like this one. This is my daughter.
Trust me when I say I'll be back before you know. I'm sorry if my side of the bed is getting cold. Just wait another day, I'll be back before you know.
And then I'll do one more just because sorry if I'm this is another one that I laugh every time.
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
Yo.
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what?
So anyways, those are a couple of videos. So if you wanted to check out some of those videos of kids doing weird things, you can follow that on the TikTok page. Anybody have any questions for me? I'm going to say thank you for coming on. I appreciate it, and thank you for all the comments in the chat box. I appreciate that too. And if you need anything, if you have any questions on shooting videos, or you have questions about editing, I'm always available. You can shoot me an email anytime. Call me up on the phone. It's all available. My email, my social media profiles are all at Zeb Welborn. So you can find me on any social media platform and message me through there too.
Great presentation, Zeb.
Thank you, Clark.
We take off. See you next week.
Yeah, that's how apropos. Take off. See you, Clark.
Hey, thanks, Zeb. That was awesome, man. We really appreciate the help, and we look forward to doing more with you.
All right, good. Thank you.
Thanks, Zeb. Appreciate it. See you later.
Hey, you're welcome. Thank you.